sound like you were jerking off.
Cause I was. Welcome everybody to the Skull Hunter Podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Anchor, your all-in-one platform needs for your podcast. Get your podcast started today. Joining us today on the Skull Hunter Podcast, we have the amazing beardless man, Joseph, everybody. And we have...
Never been this long without my phone.
and last but not least, we have the bearded devil lemonade sipping, Mountain Dew throwing Charles, everybody. I didn't sit there and get a couple hundred views for throwing Mountain Dew in a trash can, so, you know, I think that was pretty damn accurate. Thank you very much.
Well, I couldn't burp on command freaking like I wanted to, so I had to do something.
Dude, you can't. Dude, that's a weird thing I can do. Some people can like fart or sneeze on command. I can burp on command, and it's great, but it's not like a and a whole entire thing. It's just like a, and then I'm like, oh, okay, that's not manly. When people are at a bar going, and I'm going,
some of them like they're on the verge of retching or something. Like,
yeah.
Like I'm trying to do a heavy metal voice.
Oh, dude,
I don't do this too often
pee-pee
anymore. But like if I drink like a carbonated beverage, and then I bend my tongue so that the underside is locked underneath the top side of my tooth, I can like shoot a projectile, shoot water out of the underside of my tongue.
You fucking lizard! What are you talking about?
I was so proud of myself that if we ever got together and played Pokemon, I would have Squirtle dibs. It's like a limited thing. Like it's like a because I can't just do it, so it's not like an on-command thing. Like I would have to have soda on me just to. I don't know it's like the carbon, and there's a reaction, and my tongue just goes.
Yeah, I'll get to your thing in a minute. Is that new?
Nope, I've had this, and it's from that one freaking podcast that me, Joseph, and James did that one time where like Joseph liked to said something about where he called this thing a huge rail gun and something, and he was talking about how you like this tiny little dart gun and everything, and I'm still trying to figure out why that's not on your channel, the podcast channel anymore.
I don't know.
I think some of the episodes were just lost to the ether.
I don't know. Maybe you might have shot it away. Honestly, I don't know. As we all know, James was the original co-host for this podcast, and he's out getting that milk. Maybe one day, Dad, please come home. Now back to the Squirtle thing. So what you're saying is if you did that on me, that means I made you squirt.
Well, okay. I mean, I'm gonna attempt to answer the question in earnest, which is, how you would. For one, I made you wet, so there's that. But also,
every Tuesday,
how do you make me exactly? Like you can ask me to do it, and I'll do it. But are you gonna like gunpoint? Because trust me, it's not gonna come to that.
Well, if I visit you, I legally can't. So trying to think. If you come down here, I probably could do it gunpoint.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. That's exactly how I want to do this.
Oh, welcome to the United States. Squirt. just I see my friend for the first time, and she's like hugs and stuff. I point a fucking gun at him, saying, "Squirt for me, make me wet." Hey, welcome to the Skull Hunter Podcast, everybody.
This podcast is brought to you by Anchor. Your
no, Anchor might have discontinued now. No, if you're in Audio Land, you will hear much more about them later on. But yeah, if you came here for serious news, we came to the wrong place. And trust me, when I say came, you came to the right place. But wrong for news. Don't ever come here for actual knowledge. Come here for our wise words, our jokes, our laughs, and to talk about our weeks. So as we know, right now, I'm really excited to hear a little bit more about this. I don't know if it was told to me in secret or not, but we're just going to get it out there. Joseph actually has an update for the week. Other weeks, because we didn't do the podcast last week. I'm sorry for those who were hoping to hear our beautiful voices. We didn't do the podcast last week, but there's been some updates in his path to success.
maintaining my current lifestyle.
I wasn't gonna say that, but okay.
Yeah.
So I would love to dive in that for a minute.
I got a job, and then I got another. Okay, I got another.
So you're working 3 jobs at once?
On top of the several other ones that I also have. So I can kind of I can kind of cheese it a little bit because like a contract can also be a job, and a job doesn't necessarily have to be like 10 hours, 15 hours, 20 hours. Sometimes it's like, oh, a couple of hours a week. Some of them you only hear from them for a little bit throughout the month. But like I landed some consistent work, and one of them very much is a job in the traditional sense. So because I'm a liability, I'm only going to say so much about it, but the job is to help people write their resumes. So my job is to have an interview with them, ask them questions, and help them to revise their resume so they can get a job that they're looking for. And so I did a call with them today, and more of them are being booked, and so it's consistent work. And like, not the best I've ever been paid, but I'll take a pay cut if there's no grief. Like, not like, I can make twice as much money, but if there's grief involved, forget about it. And then I had another call today with a different person altogether who's doing like a Web3 agency, so very much in like the crypto, DeFi, blockchain space. And they were looking for a podcast host, and they want me to do it. So I'll be back on doing my podcast hosting thing, and got a couple of small contracts. Things are steadily growing with some of the other media people that I'm working with. And I hadn't applied for any work for about a month and a half, but I'm probably going to do another round or two of just like another wave of applications, just in case something falls apart or something doesn't work out.
Makes sense.
Just in case. But yeah, it was nice to not only have some good news, but to look at my phone and be like, oh shit, that's another job offer, isn't it? I might have gone too far. to go from scarcity to abundance was the highlight of my week. So yeah, it feels a lot better. It just feels like the sun's coming up, Yeah. It's nice.
It does sound like an ass, but do you ever see any notifications from whenever I upload a video?
On YouTube?
Yeah.
On it, like, let's try this out right now. I'm just gonna pop onto YouTube for a second. So when you say notifications, are you talking about like the bell notifications?
Like if you see that if I upload a video, there's a thing show up on your phone that shows it.
No, like I'm pretty light on notifications. Like, especially with emails, I've unsubscribed to basically anything that's not "you're hired," because I was so exhausted with like looking at a message and be like, this isn't no job. I don't give a shit right now. So the only thing that I consistently see, Charles, from you are your shorts. Your shorts pop up on my YouTube feed pretty consistently, and I typically will watch those.
Interesting. That's interesting. I have to hunt for his shorts, but like his normal like Halo videos or Call of Duty videos and stuff like that will pop up on my feed all the time as a recommendation and stuff. But the shorts, if he posts one, I never know until we have a conversation and he's like, yeah, my short got like 800 views today. I'm like, why didn't it show up on my fucking feed? Where was it there? But unfortunately, that's YouTube. I mean, it depends on what you watch.
Joseph gets my sorry.
No, go ahead.
Maybe it's because I don't follow as many creators who do shorts. Like I think Jordan, I think you might follow more people who are known for shorts. I think a lot of because I mean I've built up my YouTube Rolodex over the course of like 10 years.
Yeah.
And so this is where shorts were even a glint in its mother's eye. So like a lot of my content is just that. So my shorts are so just to give a breakdown of what it looks like. So Spy Family, Zelda, Spy Family, anime, titties, Trump, you, Charles, Super Mario 64, and League of Legends. And the League of Legends one is about to get the not interested.
Funny that Joseph gets notifications whenever I upload a short, and Jordan is the one who gets the notifications whenever I upload one of my edited videos.
I'm not even messing with you too. Like I'm not saying this because of Joseph. Like if you notice I didn't hit a like button or if I didn't interact in any sort of way, I didn't get a notification or it never popped up on my page. Now I have YouTube notifications turned off. The only time I ever get notified is when someone comments on my stuff because of YouTube Studios. But I have like all the notifications off, so that's why I can't participate in the notification idea. But on like my recommendation feed, like when you load up YouTube on your phone, it's like it'll show you like, oh yeah, this person video, this person video, this person video. Yours will pop up there, but when I go to like the Family Guy shorts and everything else I watch, it's like I never know you uploaded anything if it's not for that, because your subscriber area I stopped looking at because on YouTube unsubscribes you if you don't interact with the person's stuff for so long. But
is that right?
It will unsubscribe you. So me and
I have 388 subscriptions. I'm pretty sure a lot of these I haven't seen in a while.
But that's the weird part is some of them it won't unsubscribe you for. So I have a few channels that I haven't watched in years, and I'm subscribed to, and I still am. But Luke Gone is a rapper I listen to a lot. Actually, good buddies with, and me and I realized one day it showed I was not subscribed, and I went, that's not right. I am definitely subscribed. I've been subscribed. Why am I not subscribed? I subscribed to him the same time I did Atlas. Why am I subscribed to Atlas and not him? So
yeah, I got David Mitchell's soapbox. He hasn't put a video here in 7 years, and I still subscribe to him. It might be, I don't know if this is possible, that maybe like accounts that were opened up at a certain time or just have different like legacy rules to them. Like my YouTube account is pretty old, so I can imagine that maybe certain algorithmic changes don't apply to it. It's just kind of spitballing because these companies are big and they're pretty good at what they do, but there's a lot of like chaos. Yeah, I should say. There's just a lot of people like, okay, be sure to implement this system, and then for whatever reason, it's implemented for like 70% of the user base, and the other 30% never notice, never care. They would just they just get their anime titties and they're happy.
I mean, that makes me happy. But yeah, I mean, that could be very possible with it. I mean, YouTube's such a weird platform. But yeah, no, I don't watch the WWE stuff just because I don't understand a lot of it. If I ever catch you live, I will hop in, at least say hi. But the Destiny stuff, I'll browse through, give you that watch time that YouTube cares about. And then your actual like Halo stuff, I'll watch to the end. I'm like, yeah, I'll watch this guy. He's kind of cool. I know him. If he blows up one day.
That's pretty much all I've uploaded for like the past almost a week.
Exactly. That's why I've been watching them.
And I still cannot believe it. All those videos just came from one day of playing it because I had the itch to play Halo again.
Yeah, I feel that. Over this weekend, I visited my family, and I suddenly got the urge to play games that I haven't played in a while, like the classic Psycon filter, or actually like sit down playing like a board game with everyone, or like hopping back into like an older game to play. Like even though I stream 7 Days to Die on Saturdays, but I got the urge to like want to play it, but with no one, and make it as hard as possible. And I'm like, why would I put myself under that? Why would I say, hey, let me just try to piss myself off? And I'm like, but I kind of just want to do it. I kind of just want to go for it. And I'm like, damn. And Angry Birds, I uninstalled. I was like, damn, bye-bye Angry Birds. Yeah, it was definitely strange. But yeah, I mean, your throw to want to play Halo works because, I mean, it keeps showing up on my recommended feed. Because I watch your Halo stuff, I will get like the Halo shorts and stuff, like people getting good plays on their Halo shorts, and there's no audio, it's just the game audio, and it's this guy shooting, gets like 1 or 2 kills, and it just ends, and I'm like, stop recommending this to me. Like, I why are you doing this? Like, I get it, but it's shorts, and you should recommend the shorts I watch, like Family Guy. Recommend that. Recommend the Satisfying Sand, or the Pressure Crush, or the Pressure Washing Simulator, by the way. I'm out of the trend. I'm sorry. I came. Okay? That's all I have. That's all I could specify to that game. I watched Jacksepticeye play it and before bed. And I have never been that aroused. Sorry, Brittany. I've never been that aroused before, ever. I was like, oh! And then the Irish man just made it better. But no, it was. I can't believe how nice it was. Just the
I've seen a couple clips of that. It's like surprisingly satisfying because people think, how could this possibly be appealing compared to all of the other things that the games industry offers?
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things. It's very satisfying.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot of horror games coming out this year, and I'm like, oh, that's so exciting. And then like I seen Pressure Washing similarly, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe.
You're gonna get Bayonetta 3.
Bayonetta 3, what is that?
It's Bayonetta, and it's the newest one that's finally coming out after all these years.
What is it about?
Made by Sega Genesis. Was not Genesis. Jesus Christ, Joseph. It's Sega's the publisher. I think it's Platinum Games is the developer. Bayonetta, she's tall, black hair, wears like a black bodysuit from head to toe.
It's actually her hair.
And it's actually her hair. And she has to use that hair as a resource to do certain moves, which means that pretty often she's clothesless because she's redirected her hair energy to attacks.
And she has assistance from a freaking giant demon.
I thought you were going to say...
And she also uses four freaking pistols that she can use on her hands and on her feet somehow.
Yeah, there's a lot of sexual innuendo, so naturally she was a perfect fit for Super Smash Brothers.
And for some reason, people like this see her as their mom. Because they're into that freaking weird shit.
Bet. Okay. I might check it out.
It's essentially Devil May Cry, thinking it was more freaking 18+.
If you like power washing, this Bayonetta footage
if you like power washing, you will like this. A naked woman, please like that more than power washing.
It's only naked. It doesn't actually really show anything. It's usually...
You're losing me! You're losing me! I need at least like... I need like the katana. Like I need like her. I need like the shell casing, you know.
They show skin at least. They don't show freaking any of the nips or the freaking crotch.
Booty?
Sometimes they show an ass shot every now and again.
I'm sold.
I mean, you can go find that stuff if you know where you're looking.
But I don't... If I buy a game and it's like... Watching porn, you're there for a reason. Like you're not there to see like, oh, what's on TV. You're there for a reason. If I'm playing a game and I'm there to play the game, and then I'm getting like these little like freebies, like little things thrown to me, I'm like, okay, like I'm good with it. I'm like, okay.
Well, yeah, Bayonetta is praised for being a great action game with a great combo system and really imaginative.
Wait, so it's like a fighting game?
Like Devil May Cry.
Okay, so it's like an action fighting. Okay, bet. I was about to say, if it's like Mortal Kombat nonsense, I would never play it. I hate fighting games like that. It's just too
like
much.
2D side-scrolling fighting games. You don't like them?
No, unless we're playing on an actual arcade machine. No. For the young generation, that was what cool kids did back in the 90s and 80s. We would go to arcades where I actually touch grass. It was fun. I'm born like early 2000s, like 1999, but I knew what they were.
Yeah, the tragedy is like we have arcades now, but there's two groups of arcades. There's like the ones where it's a bunch of iPhone games, Android games that have been blown up, and they're all like prizes, like the Dave & Buster's, like Temple Run. Stuff like that is now on arcades, and that's tragic because for a lot of people that's what they think arcades are. But then you get these niche bars where they have a bunch of retro machines out and they get the retro cabinets. Those are good times.
I was gonna say the Dave & Buster's me and my girlfriend went to had a bunch of like arcade games and everything, and they even had Halo Fireteam Raven there, which I was tempted to try.
Okay, fair enough.
The like the arcade side for the games and stuff. Like I absolutely love the old style, but I will give Dave & Buster's a lot of credit though. They try to give a nice blend because they know they appeal to an older audience as well. So they give like a nice balance. Like you can actually go in and find like at least here in Kansas, there's a Dave & Buster's up in Kansas City. and it has like older arcade machines, like the classic Donkey Kong kind of style, Mrs. Pac-Man, the actual original Pac-Man, bless you. They have like all these like little ones that are like, oh, okay, it's kind of cool, brings you back. They have some of the old classic shooter ones there. It's a ton of fun. And then Dave Buster's also has like the new, like the Mario Kart. They make it to where you sit on that little car and all this stuff. Like they have obviously newer stuff to appeal to the newer generation. But yeah, Dave Buster's has a nice mix of them.
Mine has a bowling alley.
I bet if I went back to Dave and Buster's and I took a little bit more of a thorough look, it'd be like, okay, maybe it's like 55-60% newer stuff, but there's still a decent collection of older stuff. So yeah.
Okay, I bet.
Yeah.
If you're wondering what Halo Fireteam Raven is, sorry, Joseph.
I'm counting how many bets.
Sorry.
It's gonna go. Okay, go ahead, Charles.
Halo Fireteam Raven is basically a real shooter, like the Rambo game that came out a few years ago that freaking people had a huge issue with.
Okay, bet.
And it's essentially as close to what...
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I thought that was... tell me that wasn't you just trolling me just now. Tell me that was actually like... I'm not...
And it's essentially as close as we're going to get to having the side thing happen in Halo over the Flood with the Marines and everything. Because in Halo Fireteam Raven, you play as an ODST squad, and you actually meet the commander of the ODST group and most of the Marine forces that were still left over from when they left the Pillar of Autumn at the beginning of Halo 1.
Now, imagine going to a casino,
sorry,
and you had to wager on your games.
Yeah. What about it?
How would you call that?
Halo Reach.
Okay, I gotta ask this because like there was this arcade game that I played, and I think it might have been a fever dream. It was called the Johnny Nero Action Hero. Any chance?
Did you have a stroke? What the fuck? Johnny Nero
Action Hero. And so he's a single player or two players. And the single player, you could either play with one gun or you could put a little bit more money in, and you can dual wield. But you had to shoot off screen to reload. So the trick is have one gun constantly shooting away from the screen, and then you would have infinite ammo, and you would just constantly shoot everything. And as far as like arcade shooters go, I actually quite liked it because I like the Time Crisis style where you have a panel and you have to like take cover, and then you have to get up to shoot things, and it's on a time limit, so like you can't just hide forever. But with this one, it was always like the attacks were always coming towards the player, and you always had to shoot the projectiles House of the Dead style. And so that was a lot of fun. But that game, I don't know. I think they might have made like one, and it was at my Woodbine Center arcade, because I'm starting to think I hallucinated this.
I mean, that's always possible. I mean, I have dreams I'm convinced that are probably real, but there's still a chance it's not. But it sounds like what you're describing sounds like a lot of the Wii shooter games and stuff like that. So I could see it actually being a real thing, except on...
This predates Wii, but it's actually possible that they made it for the Wii. You know, I have the internet, so why don't I just settle this once and for all?
Yeah, no, I say do it. And for the Halo
hard
thing,
to find
that's
arcade.
Good to know.
YouTube. Okay, so at least the YouTube video as top of list actually acknowledges that it exists. Yeah, it's a hard to find game according to Joe's Classic Video Games, which has 48,000 subscribers. Wager.
And, basically, Fireteam Raven basically takes place during the events of Halo 1, and these ODSTs end up dying on the Halo ring while watching as a Pillar of Autumn explodes. Spoiler.
Wait, so the arcade game was canon?
Yeah, in a way.
Oh, bet.
Only the one any of those characters get mentioned.
I love you, brother, but I'm gonna have to go with you. You're just doing a bit.
I say it so much. You don't understand. I say bet as like an acknowledgement of like, oh, okay. But I say, oh, okay so much. So I say bet. I say bet so much because it's my version of just okay. It's like saying poggers. It's, I'm not, it's not a bit. It's not a bit. before when you first mentioned it, and then every time you've been trying to make me say it, I haven't been saying it. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And I'm getting into what Charles is saying. And then I forget about it, so then I say bet for the acknowledging what he said and being like, oh, okay. I say bet. It's not a bit. It's a bet.
People aren't careful. They'll do this unconsciously, and they won't even realize they're saying it, and it'll take somebody else to have to call it out. Like,
and now I'm thinking about
someone I know will always say like, I don't know after what they said, and it gets to a point where they're so used to saying it that they don't even realize they're doing it. I knew somebody else who would just like laugh after everything that you said. It'd be like, and then after a while, like, so wait, did you find that funny? She's like, why would I find that funny? Well, because you laughed. It's like, I laughed? I didn't even realize that. Like, things get into our unconscious muscle memory, and then we're just doing it.
Yeah, no, I feel that. No, I definitely feel that.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
As far as I know, I think Fireteam Raven is canon because it takes place during the events of Halo 1, just from the ODST squad's perspective. And I always say that because the commander of the ODSTs, and also the one high-ranking officer in the Pillar of Autumn that could take over after Captain Keyes disappeared and everything, is literally you meet him at the beginning of the game and you take orders from him. He was he was a major character in Halo: The Flood. Which is also basically telling the events of Halo.
So just so I'm sure we're on the same page, Fireteam Raven, that's the arcade one where you're sitting down in the cabinet and you're shooting. Okay, right on.
Yeah, I didn't think that I didn't think that was actually canon. I played it, and that's why I know it's a ton of fun. That's why when you said that it's canon, I went, really?
It might be canon, only because if it takes place during the events of Halo 1 and because of that ODST commander.
Okay.
I don't know when this happened exactly, but things being canon don't seem there's a certain point where it just lost its effect on me. Like, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was the new Resident Evil show, and you had told me before we recorded that it's canon. I'm like hell it is. Like, how quickly can they just retcon it and say that it's something else? Like, there people have even talked about the new Star Wars trilogy. They might just retcon it and say, oh, you know what, never mind, that was a fuck up. That was a fever dream. That was a parallel universe.
Apparently to Disney, anything that wasn't done by them when it comes to Star Wars is a parallel universe, which is basically all the books, all the fucking games, and all the other shit.
Oh no, not Dash Rendar.
People like that guy, apparently, so.
Yeah.
I mean,
and also Luke Skywalker's wife and kids.
Leia?
And now Ben Solo.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I don't watch Star Wars, so I honestly
Leia's
don't know.
his sister.
Oh.
Not really.
So incest?
What do you mean, not really? They're far from the same mom.
Ben is freaking Leia's and Han's kid. Rey is just some.
Yeah.
Is related to Palpatine. Spoiler. Freaking that only took the Skywalker name because she didn't want to be known as a Palpatine anymore.
For me, the last the Rise of Skywalker. To me, that's not canon.
I don't think that whole trilogy except for certain parts.
I learned so much. Okay.
Darth Vader would have bitch slapped Kylo left and right and all over the place. Fight me, people who don't like that.
Please fight Charles at CJ the Lone Wolf. I would love to see that happen. So with this idea of canon, because I mean we're kind of here. The canon idea for shows, I think there needs to always be a big disclaimer at the beginning of anything, or in a description. The first thing should either say it is canon or it's not canon. Like for the Halo series that happened on Paramount, it was obvious that it wasn't canon, but a lot of people, like even me, was thinking there's no way this is canon. Like, but there's nowhere immediately on there that says it's not canon. You have to know your shit to know it's not canon. Or you have to dig in to know it's not canon. So, like with the new Resident Evil, that there's gonna be no spoilers, and I think I might have said a spoiler or two already before the podcast. But so for those who may not know, on July 14th, Resident Evil has released a brand new Netflix series. It has, I think, 8 episodes to it or something like that. It is Raccoon City in 2022. and it takes place with pretty much a new outbreak that occurs. It looks amazing on the idea of it. And just a little hint that you can read in the description if you search it up. It involves Albert Wesker's daughters that we knew he had in the series and stuff. But I had to search up if that was canon because we know Albert Wesker has a son. His name is Jake. We know he has a son. We know he had a sister. We know he had all the we knew some of the objects of the whole thing, but we didn't know everything. And we know for Albert Wesker having a kid named Jake, Jake has superpowers like Albert Wesker. So with already knowing that fact, it's like, okay, what about the daughters? What are they gonna have? Are they gonna have anything? Or was that before Wesker was, Wesker the Mester? I don't know. But since Jake is in his early 20s during Resident Evil 6, who knows? Because Resident Evil 6 was taking place in 2016. Let me search it up. But
I still think the worst kid that they show in the series, from what I've seen, is probably just a clone or something. Because it is known that they can clone people.
You want to know?
No, because I don't want to watch another shitty video game adaptation.
No, then...
Oh, Resident Evil 6 took place in 2013. Okay, so that means the daughters would theoretically have to be somewhere between 30 or something. Obviously, if you watch trailers for the Netflix show, we will obviously see that they're not in their later 30s, so this definitely has to be a little bit Oscar from Jake. So it leads a lot of questions into it that I would love to solve, but I do not want to give any spoilers out until at least a good month. And I've only watched the first episode, kinda. I want to go back through it, really take it all in. Now I learned it's canon. I really want to kind of soak it in. As we know, Resident Evil, Capcom specifically has been talking about releasing another Resident Evil game called Resident Evil Raccoon City Returns. They've been talking about releasing a game like that for a while, and I think it's funny how that Netflix is how they released that, and now we have to ask the big question, will this show become a game? And from what I'm hearing, a lot of people are saying, please, for the love of God, no. A lot of people are please ask for this not to become a game. Go ahead.
For one thing, how would they be able to go back to Raccoon City, considering the fact that place got fucking nuked?
They rebuilt it.
Rebuilt. It's been Raccoon City was destroyed in 1998, and now it's 2022. So that gives more than enough time to rebuild a city, especially under Umbrella's situation. And they could move it. Honestly, they could have sat there and said, "Oh, this was the incident of the Raccoon City thing." Okay. What about that town over there? Oh, that's Rogersville. No, that's Raccoon City now. And they just buy it out, take over the name, boom.
They can build a city like it somewhere else, but they can't build this new city on top of where the old one was, especially after it's been nuked. Because ask Chernobyl how that worked out for them.
Yeah, I honestly don't think it takes place at the same location. And the only reason I say I don't think it takes place there because, let's be honest, who the fuck would want to go back? Who would want to know? Because a nuke has what? Radiation. Who would want to go back to a fucking town that's been nuked previously, saying, "Man, this
still has some lasting
time."
effects from the lasting radiation."
Exactly. So
just ask Chernobyl how that worked out for them.
Well, if you do, depending on who you ask, they'll be like, "Oh, it worked out fine. Nothing went wrong. Nothing went wrong at all.
Nothing happened. Everything's a-okay. Why do you ask? Who are you? Where's my dad? You're gonna get those answers, but
his arm just popping out of his head, shakes your hand with it.
Let's meet you.
That's just CG. Move along.
CG.
Anything from that all gillied up mission of Modern Warfare 1 is freaking what Chernobyl looks like freaking in real life, then I'm pretty sure that place is never going to be livable for a very freaking long time. By then it will be fucking dead.
I mean, your overall point is valid, but there is a slight difference here because that was a tactical nuke that hit Raccoon City versus Chernobyl was a nuclear reactor that went radioactive and exploded. So the radiation from a nuclear reactor is very much more potent, I should say, compared to the fallout from a nuke, I assume. Or maybe the nuke is even more because it's designed to kill, versus the nuclear reactor was designed to provide people with sustainable power and a way of life. So I don't know, but at the very least, like, it wasn't like one for one nuke versus another nuke. That much I know.
Yeah, so I did some quick looking up here real quick, and according to this, there's a whole entire article about the description of Raccoon City and how it happened, how everything went down, and it goes into a pretty hefty detail. But yeah, it was a complete nuke with radiation, all this nonsense, to get rid of the bioweapon, specifically the T virus and the G virus. So it was the nuke set to take place on October 1st, 1998, on a Thursday. I don't know why that was so fucking Pacific. It all began September 23rd, 1998, as a smaller outbreak taking place. And then obviously we know what that is. It's a mansion. So yeah, I mean, it seems to all have its kind of connection, but yeah, it's definitely radiation. So you would think if it's a radioactive nuke or anything else, I mean, no matter what, an explosive is going to have a massive radiation. It just depends on how long. I don't think it happened at the same location. So I don't think it's the same location. I think it's a situation they built a whole new city. They call it Raccoon City because, of course, Umbrella's involved with it. It's Resident Evil. They're going to be involved with it and magically have tons of money. Maybe
I'm
they're
going
Elon
to take the
Musk.
opposite stance on this just for the hell of it. I think that they probably had some sort of technology to clear away the radiation, or they even like captured and bottled it, and now it's hidden underneath the facility. And for some reason, it was just like, it's still, no matter how bad it gets, it still made fiscal sense for them to build upon the ashes of their old city. Now, is this a good idea? No. So why do I think they did it? Because why the hell not?
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, that could be a honest situation on what they could have ended up doing, and that would make sense and be able to help their experiences with bioweapons and things like that. That obviously relates back to Resident Evil. So I guess that could make sense. I was just imagine like the cost to build a whole goddamn city in 23 years. That's livable and everything. And that's where I'm like, did they though? It takes 2 years to make one highway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was having this conversation with my good friend Arth. We were just talking about how like different properties have an apparatus that allows them to tell whatever story that they want. So an easy example of this is Star Wars. The Force is the apparatus that's just like, whatever has to happen happens. Oh, the guy can shoot a missile into an exhaust port and blow up the Death Star. Oh, that's a hard shot. How's he gonna do it? I know, the Force. Like, anytime that they need to do something to the story, the Force is just flexible enough to like, okay, well, there you go. It was the Force. So in Resident Evil, Umbrella is the apparatus. Like, anything that you want to do, any story you want to tell, all you have to do is say, oh, Umbrella had the money for it. Well, how does Umbrella have the money for it? Because it's Umbrella. They're a secretive, shadowy corporation with weapons manufacturing, and they have like their consumer grade cosmetics available all throughout the world. Umbrella can do whatever the hell it wants, and that's what makes them a formidable villain to write stories off of.
Yeah,
and a fetish for creating freaking bioweapons that cause zombie outbreaks that pretty much kills every freaking human in the world.
On the upside, though, these zombies run. These zombies are more advanced. They actually run and stuff, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So here's I was following the feedback for this Resident Evil TV series, and it's been mostly bad feedback. Most people are saying that it's just not good. A couple of the major media outlets, IGN and I believe GameSpot, they gave it a more positive review, and the community largely thinks that these positive reviews were
paid for.
Paid for, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I sometimes I think that the the rogues gallery, which are like really the most trusted people who criticize these things, you can tell what they're going to criticize, because it's like, well, hey, if it's part of like, some sort of woke agenda, or if it's just part of one of these major production companies, or if it's Netflix, there's a good chance it's going to be part of like the woke agenda. And that's not, and that part I don't really care about. I just wanted to point that out as a commonality. And I've read the review for the Resident Evil series on IGN, and they pointed out some things that actually I find intriguing enough to want to give the show a try. And it's not really the spoilers that I care so much about. But one of the things that they talk about is that the series, this TV series, tries to integrate some of the less obvious elements of Resident Evil. So they're not trying to like, okay, it's not another story with Jill and Chris and the crew, although Wesker is there, so obviously there's an element of that. But that there's times where the characters are like trying to solve a puzzle, like they're trying to like get a case open, and they have to follow a bunch of clues for it. That's the kind of thing that I thought, okay, I think I get what they're doing. Is they want to take some of the different mechanics of Resident Evil and apply it into what they're doing here. And the question that I have is like, when you're watching a TV series or a movie or an adaptation, the story is probably the part that they're going to screw up the most, because these stories are tailored very specifically to like the game or whatever it's originally based off of. And I got to say, I don't think it's a story that I'm really in for. It's more like them capturing the moment-to-moment experience that I would expect playing the game. So like, wandering around, solving puzzles, getting into fights, stuff like that is more like what I think productions should really rely on. So Charles, obviously you've got a lot of experience on the Halo side, and we've had similar conversations about this in regards to Halo, but like, when it comes to your favorite properties, what would you want to focus on? Do you need to retell the story? Do you want to just get the mechanics right? What is it that's really important for you to see an adaptation done well? And just for me, real quick, like if somebody were to adapt, say, Legend of Zelda, and I hope it's Mia that does it, I don't think it's gonna do well if all they're doing is just him going like dungeon to dungeon, picking up an item, killing a boss. Like, who cares? Like, why would I want to watch that? So it really does have to be the story for it to work, and it has to be a story about something that the games don't really get the time and space to cover.
As long as it don't like diverge from things like they did with the Halo series that we did get, everything they actually at least stick mainly to like what's already established and everything, and they don't freaking character assassinate certain characters like they did with Master Chief, then it wouldn't be, then people, they wouldn't have such a problem. Like, even though I haven't heard anything on the Borderlands movie, if they figured somehow royally fuck up that, then a lot of people are going to be just as pissed off as they were about the Halo series. Because Borderlands is not hard to freaking do!
But, and then, so with kind of like what Joseph is saying with that, though, with the, let's now switch it over to Borderlands. What's more valuable then? The storyline to it, or how they proceed with like the action and that kind of carrying on through the game?
I'm not sure. All I know is that as long as they at least have a storyline that at least loosely follows pretty much what we already know from the games and everything, and even if they throw a reference here and now to them, they actually make it seem like this movie's tying into what happens in the game, what happened in the games and everything. If they're planning on doing a whole trilogy with this with this Borderlands movie, then they should at least somewhat freaking follow what the games did, and maybe better in some cases. Looking at you, pre-sequel.
Okay, so it's more about how they, I guess, like tell or show the story more than tell the story. Then, so
I just don't do what they freaking did with the Halo series, because that was fucking bullshit.
I honestly just didn't. So I really want to sit down and fully watch the rest of the Halo series. The problem I have is I already got a lot of the reviews, not just from you, but from other people too. And their biggest complaint is the Master Chief is seen more with his armor off than on. And it's like, that kind of throws me off. Because once again, then don't call it Halo. Call it fucking Donkey Kong 64. Like call it what it is. Don't sit there and call it what you want it to be. So like Borderlands, honestly, like even if they have a couple main characters, they don't have to tell you the storyline. Make sure you keep it with the storyline. But it's like they want, from what you're kind of wanting, is you want them to kind of keep on the path of through the games to show you their progress and to show you how the game was laid out versus making sure you know all the details of the background story.
Yeah, and the coming back to when we were talking about Streets of Rage, like the thought process that I had for what I would want to see that adaptation is try to answer questions that the players are having and try to make the game world seem more logical for when the players go back to it. So the example that I stated was in the game, or really in any beat 'em up, you're pummeling these goons and they all look identical. So like use the movie or use the TV series as a chance to explain why they do that, which again, the reason I stated was, well, because it's a uniform. They all cut their hair the same way. They all wear the same clothes. They all even have the same workout regimen, so they all look the same, so that they can't be identified by the police. You can't arrest one without arresting the rest of them because they all look the same. So like that would be what a movie could be a really good opportunity to do, is like add more context so that when the players go back and play it, or if it's vice versa, they have a deeper understanding of the game. When you end up watching a movie or a TV show, and not only did they not represent those concepts, but they ignored them or they even undervalued them, then the players will actually feel less engrossed in the material in the first place. An example of that would be like the first wave of Resident Evil movies with Mila Jovovich.
The first couple of them were actually all right. After a while,
they were good.
Oh yeah.
I really like the first one. Also, like if the first one happens to be on, I'll watch that. I still enjoy that one. But like Mila Jovovich, that whole movie series is like a mod character with a bunch of superpowers is now like doing a speed run of Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Like it's like a character with a bunch of cheat codes activated. Like it's fun. It's like a power fantasy. And it works if you're a fan of the series and you're playing the game on hard, and it's always been about survival and all of that. And so to see a movie version where now this character is just like letting loose and is just gunning people down, and it's kind of cathartic, like that's okay. That's an interesting twist on the feelings that people have towards the game by design. But it is also a product of the time too. They did like this. Oh, well, I guess this is just what we're gonna do with it.
Yeah.
If you want to see something that's actually good and is Halo related, it was live action. Halo Forward Unto Dawn was something I like watching and everything. And that series didn't have Master Chief till like the last freaking episode.
Yeah, and
the Sacred Covenant.
Yeah. But I think that was more them trying to make you watch the series so you would like, he's coming. Just when are you doing it? Because it's like the same thing like in theaters when you have like people coming back for the Iron Man. Fucking spoiler alert, in Endgame, everyone dies and come back. But it's like when you have them coming out and it's like you have the whole crowd going, oh, yeah, when they finally see like their person coming back, and it's like it's that weird kind of ordeal. So I get why they would put like Master Chief towards the end of that series, because it's like he finally comes in and everyone's going, when, and then he finally is in and is like, yeah, it sucks, it's the last episode, but yeah, and it's more thrilling.
The thing with Forward Unto Dawn, it's literally just telling the backstory of Lasky from Halo 4 and 5. The commander, the one officer that you meet you meet in both those games and everything. It tells his backstory and what led to him when he first met Master Chief and what led to him being who he is and everything. And, like I said, Master Chief and the Covenant don't show up to the last one, and all the while they've been asking his fellow students at this academy that gets eventually destroyed by the Covenant at the end. They've mostly been just seeing spliced together footage of when the Marines had to deal with insurrectionists, and then there's one shot that they found, the one guy that was able to splice the footage together found is of Master Chief for like a brief second, or it was like a Covenant soldier or something like that. Otherwise, you don't really see Chief throughout the whole thing. And when the students are first attacked by the Covenant, it's like they're like, "What the hell are those things?" They don't know what the heck to do. And all the while, there's actual soldiers and everyone else are getting massacred left and right. Now they only escape off the planet until Master Chief shows up, gets blown up by freaking the Covenant, which is a space elevator.
Yeah, that's Halo. Like some people they'll be like, "Oh man, that sounds like crazy. That sounds." And I'm just looking at it going, "No, that's Halo. That's just Halo at its finest." Love the game. But to get back on just the general movie topic, I feel like I feel honestly for a lot of movies who are trying to show or trying to really help keep like that real feel of their audience, I feel like they really need to communicate with the fan base of it. Even if it's a secret Reddit page that they don't know you're controlling, but it's like ask them on there, like, hey, if someone were to make a movie, hint, what would you guys want to see the most of, and whatever has the most upvotes, and then you can put that in. At least then you have like fans actually participating for free with no backlash in the sense. Besides, he listened to us, holy shit! And of course you're gonna have people who don't know, but the people who don't know aren't gonna be disappointed either. So yeah, I think any movie that's going to implement like the Resident Evil nonsense, like wanting to make new character but still make a new Resident Evil show, they did. They obviously wanted to make sure there's things that the true diehard Resident Evil fans like myself will enjoy. And there's apparently a lot of Easter eggs, but like the last movie they made was Resident Evil Raccoon City, whatever it was.
Welcome to Raccoon City.
Yeah, Welcome to Raccoon City. That got a lot of hate to it. And it was because they crammed in over 9 hours in the sense of gameplay into an hour and 20 minutes. That's what they ended up doing. And the diehard Resident Evil fans, like, people hate on the fact that Leon was not the way anyone wanted him to be, but people mostly hated on the fact that it felt so rushed. It felt like you literally were just skipping through everything, and it felt super rushed. And I kind of can agree, but versus a series, if you're ever do a series, you can kind of let a little bit more in to where it's not as rushed.
But at the same time, then it also is like, do we have enough story to tell over the course of a season? And then things start to feel bloated, and there's like a lot of filler, and then it's like, oh, was this enough to justify a second season? So there's a balance there. If it was like an intense 6 episode season, Welcome to Raccoon City, that might have been a little bit more overall content, but it would have felt more, I guess, more spaced out. The thing real quick with Leon too is like, on the one hand you have like, race swapping or gender swapping, which I'm not against in principle, but I think the more attached a person is to a character, the harder it is to be like, I really just want to see my character that I grew up with realize the way I imagined them. And so like, there's that. And then with Leon especially, like they just turned him into an incompetent rube. Yeah, that was the problem.
That was a massive problem.
And not only that, but it was done in service to make another character who happens to be a chick more competent. When like, we know what you're doing. You're trying to be rah girl power, and at the cost of men.
That's fine.
No, it's not fine because
it's fine for like the movie.
There's a better way to do it, which is both of them have strengths and weaknesses. And both of them complement each other in different ways and make up for each other's weaknesses. Did you watch Welcome to Raccoon City? Because I didn't. No,
I haven't. I'm going off of what I've heard and read.
Is there any point where like Leon does something that, or like does Claire show weakness at any point, and Leon is able to, represent the strength there?
Not what I've read, watched, or seen. Everyone kind of says that Leon is more of the rookie and on the, I hate to say dumb side, but the dumb side. They didn't care about his race, his hairstyle. They didn't care about any of that stuff. That was just like minor things that fans hated. They hated how they turned him so incompetent. That's what they really hated. They nailed Chris. I'll say that. They really did a good job with Chris. But Leon, no, they kind of ruined him with his intelligence. Yeah. And being the hit of the joke.
At all.
What's that?
Did Chris punch a boulder at all?
Nah. Wait about 3 years. You'll get there.
Yeah. But I think what you were gonna say just before I had to make sure I made my point, which is like, yeah, of course it's great to show female characters be strong, competent. We want to see that.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to see movies like where where the female characters are helpless. I don't want that. Nobody wants to see that.
No.
But we just don't want to see like you don't have to make the other side incompetent in order to, because that's unrealistic just the same. Like it was a good movie that made both male characters and female characters seem relevant. Was the Mad Max movie? I think Fury Road. Both the main lead and the female character Furiosa, they worked together. Like they clashed. They had issues, but they had to work together in order to get through the movie.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. And I guess I'm also like very, very trying to be careful with my words. With the whole, trying to get the upsides to, them trying to show that women can do what men can. I 100% agree. Women have their rights. They have their better qualities, and they definitely can do what men can. But the way they portrayed it in the movies, like you stated, this movie specifically, they did not did a good job at showing both sides' strengths and weaknesses. They did a good job with Jill, Chris situation, wesker nonsense. They did good with that, but then it came down to Leon and Claire, in the sense like the two heroes of Resident Evil 2, and they made it to where the one hero seems like you need to hold its hand the whole way through. And I get where you're coming with that, but I would like to make sure to state, like, I get where the show is trying to come from. They're trying to show, women rock, and I support you with that, but they could have went about it better. I feel like they definitely could have. I haven't watched it, but I'm a good follower at IGN and other review pages. And from what I'm hearing from all these review pages, are not great. Even when IGN has been caught in the past accepting payment for reviews, for positive reviews, to say the least. It's at least been speculated to where one Google search tells you a lot. So, I mean, with that, they could have said better things, but they didn't. So that's where I'm like, okay. If they would have paid for that positive review, they should get their money back. But no,
yeah, I think it just goes to show that like it's really the number system, and even IGN has talked about this before. Is that like the whole number system has been the problem more than anything? Is like if you look at a lot of movies these days, if they'll get a great score from the critics, the audience might trash it, and if the critics think it's bad, then the audience might love it. And it was like, well, okay. That movie is obviously good for a certain kind of person and not good for another kind of person. So like, reviews could be a lot more nuanced and focus more on like, okay, is this good or is this bad?
Yeah.
Well, what makes something good? Usually money.
Yep.
Like money or a good use of resources. Something can be made on a shoestring budget can still be good. So like, instead of having a number system, you have like, who is this for? Is it for fans? Yes or no? Is it for newcomers to the series? Yes or no? Is it for people who like watching TV? Yes or no? Is it for general gamers? Yes or no? And a person can get a different kind of score if they look at that and it's like no, 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 yes. Okay, well there's a very small group of people who would enjoy this. But if you look at another show and it gets like a yes, a yes, a yes, and a no, and they're like, well, okay, it appeals to more people, which must mean that it has more qualities to it than a show that gets a lot of no's.
Yeah.
So most content at least has some kind of audience. Like even a pile of garbage will have like a group of people who will watch it ironically. But most content these days, whether it gets trashed by the fans or gets trashed by the critics, there's at least like 40 to 60,000 people who will genuinely, unironically enjoy it. So reviews are just not really holding up anymore.
I agree, and honestly, when it's all said and done with the reviews, to say the least, I think the reviews from the fans matter more than like the critics and stuff, because the fans are what's going to sell you the copies. They're going to sell you the subscriptions or buy the subscriptions. So on that side, I really feel like that's where the fan review kind of matters. But even if so, I mean, everyone has their opinions on what they like and what they would rather watch more. And I cannot find a proper set budget for the series for the movie, I found the budget, but I can't find a proper budget Netflix spent on the movie. If I find it next week, I'll definitely make sure to specify, because I'm actually genuinely curious. I know they did not spend nowhere near as much as they did on their last one. That wasn't a great success. But yeah, I'm genuinely curious on what their budget was for this one. But no, yeah, I think that kind of helps to close in the Resident Evil show topic. I'll be watching it this week. I'm actually going to be DoorDashing a little bit, and, I'm going to be listening to some podcasts. Some might have to do with Resident Evil, because I'm a hardcore fucking fan. So I'll definitely find out more about the scoop later on. Joseph, do you have a Netflix account? And if so, are you going to watch the Resident Evil show?
I'm going to subscribe to Netflix in September when they release a new season of Cobra Kai. So
Okay.
I'll have a chance to watch a bunch of stuff for the month. Because Cobra Kai is like a vacation day for me. I last season I binged it top to bottom, so I spent the entire day watching it. It was so much fun. So I'm probably gonna do that again, and then I'll have the remaining 29 days to watch the other stuff.
You could just say, no, I don't. Hey, Jordan, could I use your information? I'll be like, yeah. You could just have the information.
I thought okay, I didn't think about that, but now that I'm thinking about that, didn't Netflix like put a rule down or something about that where you can't do that no more?
Yeah, Netflix, you did that, but I will go back another 2 years when you're literally promoted. Share with a friend.
Times change.
Yeah, times change, but guess what? People don't. So you know what? What they don't know won't hurt them.
That's got to go on a shirt, dude. Like,
time change, people don't.
Like that tells you a lot about like how what's the issue with society is altogether.
Dude, you know what? I'm writing that down. Even if it's like a cheap mall shirt.
Is that Chick-fil-A, Charles?
No, it's Taco Bell.
Nice.
Oh, I thought he was bougie up in here. So yeah, but that was kind of we're already an hour. We already went an hour in. That went by so fucking quick. That was actually crazy.
I will say one thing. I hope they had a better budget than freaking whatever the Halo series had, because they had all that money, and they could have freaking found anybody who actually knew anything about Halo. Instead, Paramount has these jackoffs that don't know anything, and they have this guy that's never played, and they never played Halo before, and then they have this other jackoff who've never even heard of it before that freaking plays Master Chief.
Yep.
It's like, I don't have a problem with the guy, but if you were going to do something on something that's this established and loved by this many people, actually know, at least try make an effort to actually know what the fuck you're actually doing.
I definitely agree. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I will state this. They did not have a bigger budget. I would definitely say that. Paramount had a massive budget with Halo. And no, they flushed it down the drain. But I will say this. Most of the budget was spent on wardrobe. It was spent on sets. It was spent on cosmetics. It was spent on design. That's where a lot of the budget went for the Halo series. At least that's what a lot of reports has stated it went to. That I get it. I mean, just think about how much it costs to get a set to look the way they do with actually having stuff going on. Even just getting a replica Warthog that actually drives is way over $50,000. And it's just for shots.
Ask those guys who built that Warthog years back for freaking Halo Landfall.
Yeah, and it cost $40,000. It was not cheap because they had a lot of things custom made. That's what costs a lot, and they had it built with actual metal and things like that. It wasn't cheap fiberglass. Even if so, that would even cost more. So, but Paramount had a big budget.
Yeah, and I'm sure all the costumes and everything, and Master Chief armor and all the prop weapons that they probably had to design. Freaking probably took forever to design everything. That probably cost money to make all those prop weapons.
Yep, and that's money they can't get back.
Let's not even talk about how much money they probably had to invest with special effects to make the Covenant look as good as they did and everything. Especially the shots when they just showed High Charity and they showed like the prophets and everything, and they actually showed what High Charity looks like in the series. That probably wasn't exactly easy to freaking animate and everything.
Nah, it probably wasn't. So I mean, like, Paramount might have had a bigger budget, but there was a reason they had a bigger budget versus let's look at Resident Evil for an example. Resident Evil, let's be honest, you could shoot in a little studio and you would probably not notice. With the special effects and everything else, you probably wouldn't notice. They could shoot at one room at a time and be fine. Versus Paramount, they're outside, they're inside, guns shooting, things are happening, smoke and stuff is happening, dirt's flying around. Like, there's so much stuff happening there versus like a Resident Evil. So yeah, but I think Paramount definitely had like 3 times. I'm just saying because I don't know the Netflix budget they had, but going off of Netflix history, they don't make anything past a certain point. They have not hit billions yet. Well, no, I think Squid Game didn't cost billions to make. No, it didn't cost billions to make. So I don't think they ever hit closer to that billion mark ever. Versus Paramount, they've claimed to hit massive numbers. I don't think billions yet, but they claim to hit massive numbers.
I still question how the hell the Halo series by Paramount got greenlit for another season before it even started.
Because fans. I will fully say fans just happy to see it, and that's why I never think, and I said this episodes ago, I said this many times before, is when a series gets signed for another season before launching, it's a bad sign, because you haven't got to see the finished product first. That's like saying, I'm going to sign up for 2 years at this gym, and it's not even open yet. I signed up, paid my money, go to the gym, realize it's shit. And I was like, cool. I signed up for 2 years of this. Am I actually going to stay here?
People
no.
like they pre-register for condos.
Yeah.
But it's what me and my girlfriend almost did for a week vacation for her birthday, which is when I'm on her birthday. Well, you'll find out.
Yeah.
I think I missed I think I missed part of the plot here. Like, you and your girlfriend for her birthday weekend were about to pre-register for a condo?
Well, if we can look at one.
Okay. Nice.
We were looking
that
at
would be fun. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
We found one that's not too bad. It's just a matter of saving the money for it.
How much, without telling too much information, how much is, like, the monthly rate?
But, well, we're not getting a condo. I think it was like the hotel room or Airbnb room or something. All I know is that all the ones that we looked at were nice, and even this one that is actually way cheaper than the other ones that we looked at is nice too, surprisingly, for the price it is. Plus, everything that in Myrtle Beach is practically right there next to the beach, and she really freaking wants to go swimming, so.
Yeah, skinny dipping, baby! Yeah, when you were saying condos, I was thinking like you finding a place to like move to with her, and that's why I was like, oh, fuck yeah, but no, I mean, hell, getting a place to stay is also really nice. Even the trucks outside's happy about it. But no, that's.
I do one of these.
No, that's definitely good. I'm actually so. I don't know. Brendan doesn't care. So we have another not unfortunate trip, but we have another trip we're taking. This month, next month, and a month after that, and this same month we're going up to Topeka so we can shoot some stuff at a motel. It's a hotel, but it's a shitty place. We're going there.
So if it's shitty, you call it a motel?
Yeah. I've stayed at 4-star hotels, and yeah, no, I'm gonna safely
Don't
say
stay in a hotel that's ran by somebody named Kat. If Courage the Cowardly Dog is showing me anything.
I'm gonna go to a hotel that offers me chocolates and coffee. You win me if you just offer me free coffee and food. I'm all yours. I'm all yours.
Sound like freaking Hansel and Gretel.
Then I'm dead. Like I'm dead, dude. I'll fall for it every time. But it's also weird thinking about yourself in those situations, being like, "Would you do it?" That's a fat little fuck. Yeah, I'll do it. Like you offer me food and a cool place to stay. Hell yeah! Because doesn't Hansel and Gretel, doesn't the father like fucking abandon them?
So it's been a while, but I think he just like dropped him off in the forest and said, "See ya." And they got into his Ford and drove away. So,
I don't know. I only remember that one where freaking Hansel and Gretel were freaking witch hunters.
Okay,
one guy that played
Hansel and Gretel. History of Hansel and Gretel. Let me try to figure this out.
You guys ever
According
seen
to
that movie where they were witch hunters and
science.smith.edu,
freaking-
Hansel and
like, one of
Gretel
them
was
with
included
a
in the
freaking
first
shotgun?
volume of Kinder und Haumarchen.
I heard
of
about
Grimm's
it, but
Fairy
I've never
Tales,
seen it.
Published in
It was like
1840, but the
a
story
gritty
originated
update
in the
of
Baltic
Hansel and
region
Gretel?
around 1315.
Yeah,
They were like,
actually
it was like kind of like
movie.
kind of like Van Helsing style.
Kind of.
Yeah,
I liked
remember
it.
that. Never seen it.
For the audio listeners, I'm sorry about that. I talked into my Google real quick because I couldn't figure out how to spell Gretel, and it read to me the fucking lore. I was trying to get this stop. There was no mute button. I'm just like, okay, bet, let's go. Okay, so I'm trying to see when all this happened. It's like the father. I think according to the lore, like the father, you know, went back in the woods and been like, yeah, you guys stay here. Yeah, because isn't the mother connected to like the fucking witch from Snow White?
That's some Disney freaking reaching for.
There's like a cinematic universe here, like
I think,
fairy
yeah,
tale
because isn't a
cinematic
lot of
universe?
it connect? I don't know, honestly. It might be yeah, because there's like, oh no, I'm thinking of the wrong thing. The mother did something. The mother was a bitch apparently, and sorry, Jake. The mother sucked, and then like the father took the kids out to like the woods, and knowing what may happen, he sent them out to die in a sense, and then when they ended up killing the cunt in the shack, he ended up finding them, and you know the goal was for them to die, and they didn't die. I think that was it. I think something along those lines. I'm gonna update next week. How did Hansel and Gretel actually go? Oh, dude, I want to know now. I'm genuinely curious about this. You know, since Charles is having some Taco Bell, Joseph, what are you doing for dinner?
I had dinner. We had chicken burgers.
Chicken burgers?
Yep.
So
you get a piece of chicken, you put it in a hamburger bun,
oh no, that's not.
Chicken sandwich.
Yeah, that's a chicken sandwich.
but it's in a hamburger bun.
It's a chicken sandwich.
Still,
Well, all
What
burgers
what
are
if you
sandwiches.
just put them in 2 slices of bread?
And then it's a sandwich.
But it's
But we put it in burger buns.
it.
I go to a restaurant where he gives a freaking people chicken sandwiches like that.
You can, if you look,
Goddamn
look,
Canadian.
you can put whatever the hell you want. If it's in between two burger buns, it's a burger.
It's not. So you tell me if I put my dick in 2 pieces of, if I put it in a bun, it's a burger?
No, that's a hot dog.
It's a penis burger.
But it's still a burger. Okay. I don't think you're right.
What's a hot dog down there?
I don't think you're right.
Now I want to know what in Canada freaking a hot dog is.
Well,
I'll tell you what. Okay, here's the thing though. There is actually like a thing called a chicken burger. It's when you get chicken
and
you
it's
process
grind
the
up
meat,
into a burger,
and it's
and
grind up
yeah.
into burger shape. So okay, fine. You guys are sponsored by Chick-fil-A. I understand. They were closer to chicken sandwich, a chicken burger.
You're sponsored by Chick-fil-A. Actually, the chicken
But we still
nuggets at
call it
Chick-fil-A
a
is pretty
burger.
fucking good.
It's expensive as fuck though.
Oh yeah. I was DoorDashing the other day, and I said the other day, it was like 5 days ago, and I'm there, I'm looking at the menu, wait for this person's order, and I'm like, oh, the chicken nugs are not bad. I'm looking, I'm like, $4 for 4 nugs. Nah. I'm like,
You just go get a 10-piece from McDonald's for like $5.
yeah. Fun fact. I'm pretty sure I'm a sponsor at this point for saying this. I don't like fast food. I don't eat fast food often. When I do, it's a rare occasion, and it does not agree with me. But I don't know. I really do not like Chinese food. Is like the closest thing to like fast food I'm able to say like fuck it. I don't care. Like even pizza, you can find like good pizza places that aren't fast food. You can find taco places that aren't fast food. And I'll eat those, but like Taco Bell, not Papa John's, fucking Popeyes, like all those, I just don't like.
Yeah, what it is because the food is made before you got there. Right there,
yeah,
already,
I think that
cooking
could be a massive part of it. Is like because the food is literally already done and you're just grabbing it. And I get like sometimes restaurants will like prepare stuff a little sooner, but it's like it's massive things like potatoes. It's like, yeah, I'm making homemade mashed potato. Yeah, you make the thing in fucking bulk. You don't waste 40 minutes every time someone wants to order potatoes. Just sit there and get it done. Like, no, you sit there and you make it in a bigger batch, and then if there's some left in early in the day, and it just get restocked and stuff. But yeah, like McDonald's and stuff. I can't tell you the last. Oh, I can't tell you the last time I had McDonald's. It felt like a rock hit my stomach. Burger King was a lot more recent. Brittany wanted a buffalo chicken burger at Burger King, and I had it, and let me tell you, my stomach fucking hated it. Like it wasn't. I didn't eat it going, I can't wait to go back. I ate it and went, I'm dead. I was like, I'm not doing this again. This sucked. This absolutely sucks. My brother Jake, my dad got him an egg burrito at like Burger King or something. According to his words, he could not get the smell out of the house. My brother Jake goes in the room and says, I think something died in me. And my dad's like, what are you talking about? I was like, it was the egg mignon. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? He'd been watching Gordon Ramsay, so oh no, he was like, it's the eggs Benedict, it died inside me. And my dad's like, what are you talking about? It's like, it's the egg Benedict. And my dad's trying to think like, what is he talking? Burger King. So yeah, it was not great. My dad was like, no, there's no way in hell we're doing that again. I'm like, nah, bro. When you're nah. What?
I like making stuff on myself. Like I like making homemade pizzas and stuff. Fajitas
Oh, it's great.
Like,
It's absolutely great.
My parents will get whenever we want to make our own have our own homemade tacos. My parents will just get like the stuff from like Walmart or something or any grocery store, and we can just put whatever we want in our own taco. Just fold that shit up and then just go to town.
My favorite thing to make homemade is pizza. It's a family it's like a family thing, and absolutely love making like homemade pizzas and stuff like that. Don't do it anymore because not time and no family. But like making pizzas and finding new healthier ways to make pizza is also like very fun to do. But like tonight,
come down to the ingredients. To willing to get spinach on there.
Yeah. It's mostly about that crust. It's trying to find new ways to make the crust. Like we did a chicken crust, we did a cauliflower crust. The cauliflower crust didn't turn out too bad, but yeah, we tried different ways to make better crusts that's more healthier for you, so I can actually eat it on my diets and stuff like that. Tons of fun, like I said, learning how to make new things. Plus, thinking about in the family, because in the family, I mean, we're a big family. Thinking about making it when we were all together, it's like, yeah, good times. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember mom starting this at 4 o'clock. Why did I start this at 8 p.m. at night? My mom started like 4 hours later, and they're all done by 8 o'clock. I'm over here starting at 8 o'clock going, how long do you think it's gonna take? And then yeah, reality strikes real quick. So Brittany's doing like a burger or a hamburger mushroom soup tonight. It's supposed to be a deep cleanser for your body since we've been eating shit while we're on the road. By the way, took my first road trip ever. I drove my first road trip the whole way there and the whole way back. I will easily say this: don't. If you can help it, don't drive down and then drive right back up. It's terrible. You just sit and you wallow in your own filth. It was terrible. Like I'm over there. I stopped to use the restroom. I'm like, holy hell. I heard. I'm sore. I smell. Where did this smell come from? I don't know. Tacos? I haven't had tacos in years. Like, where is this coming from? I'm over there smelling fucking gordita crunches. I'm like, I didn't know that was still a thing at Taco Bell. Last time I checked, they moved it off the menu. I'm over here smelling like a goddamn Taco Bell. And yeah, no, it was crazy, dude. Never doing that again.
I don't know why that made me laugh.
Other cars are lining up by your window.
They're lined up outside the rest stop being like, the mobile Taco Bell's here! Grab the family, let's go! Also, can I get the blast? It's like, yeah.
I'm pretty sure they still have that at Walmart because I got a 12-pack from there once.
Yeah.
Not that long ago.
Dude, the new Popsicle Prime, actually pretty fucking good.
I still have I have to try that stuff, but I'm not thinking having that shit Amazon to my house.
No, Walmart. They're like $2 for a bottle. Some places depends on where you're at, inflation. Yeah, no. The green one is like a lemonade, a lemon, lime. I love that. The red is fruit punch, and those two are my favorites. But the popsicle, not bad. One day the background will be put together. This is like month 2 now, and I said, yeah, I'm gonna put everything together. I haven't been home. I've been home, then I've been gone. I've been home, then I've been working. I've been home, and I've been busy. And it's like,
yeah. How did you move the office from what looks like a different room to begin with?
Same room, just different arrangements. I did it for 2 reasons. One, actually, I'll save the one reason for last because I think it's an important thing to talk about. But the first reason was because of the mouse. There was a mouse in my house, and it was like keep coming up. Right here was a lot of my wall decoration stuff and things that would sit in behind where I couldn't see behind it. And I was like, it keeps running back there. So there's probably the hole back there where it came in at. So I'm going to go ahead and move everything so I can get it done. And turns out, no, the hole was underneath my sink. That's where I caught 4 of them so far. So hopefully we caught them all. I made sure to keep them alive. I know that was a big thing on Twitter. People were like, "Hey, don't fucking kill it," and I didn't. I spent $10 per mouse trap. They're safe. They won't hurt anyone. So yeah, we got those. The second reason I did it was because the one good way to stop yourself from getting depressed or depression, especially when you're inside working all day, is to be able to have a window so you can get like the outside kind of feel, or you can look outside, and it definitely helps with like eye strain and things like that. When you're focused on a monitor, you can look outside and look at something further away, and then it will help your eyes because you're focused on one thing and it can't readjust properly. So if you go ahead and look, it helps out a ton. But yeah, it mostly helps because I'm inside all day and I have all the windows blocked up. So having it to where now I have a window that's not blocked up and I can actually like look outside. It's a good little reminder that, you know, hey, it keeps a good track of sense of time, but it also helps depression a little bit. And since I do suffer from mad depression and anxieties, it's very good to keep that level under control. And I'm a big supporter of like, you know, talk about your shit, you know, get it out in the open. But for me, I'm not I speak but don't do. So I tell people like, if you got the problem, talk about it, and I don't talk about it. So me doing little acts like that is like a little thing being like, okay, I got this. Like, I got this now. It helps, and it keeps me more focused, keeps me more level-headed, and it also keeps me better on track. So if I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep working until the night falls. Night falls, time to eat dinner, go to bed. Night happens, I'm done. I'm turning off the computer, I'm walking out of the office. And it's like, I'll look over, see it's about to get hit nighttime, going, okay, turn off the computer and just walk out. It's so
time to feel
so
my
much better.
circadian rhythm.
Yeah. What? I don't know what that means.
Circadian rhythm, that's the thing that regulates your sleep cycle.
Oh, yeah, I've lost that. Brittany's about to go to work. She's doing the night shift now. She's about to have to leave like 8 p.m. and get up at 4 a.m. And I'm like, oh, cool. So I'm going to get up at 4 a.m. now. When you come home and be fully awake by the time you're going to bed. Fucking bet, let's go. So it's like, yeah, it's one of those. I said it again.
Hey, I've been keeping track. You've been spacing them out. It's fine.
I went a long time. Like ever since I think the last time I said it was the last time I like really called it out. So yeah.
Yeah. Since our
what?
episode. Yep.
Dude, I've been trying not to say it, and then like I said it, and I immediately noticed. I'm like, oh, I fucking said. I was like, I went so long, and you're like, no, you didn't. Is there a counter on the screen
organic,
right
I would have just
here?
like, okay, I'm just gonna.
Who knows?
if it was organic, I'd be like, all right, I'm just gonna let it go. I may or may not have a bet counter in the bottom of the screen for this episode.
Man, that'd be weird if it's just like right over here and it keeps changing every time I say that word.
if it's out of context, I'm not gonna count it.
Oh, okay.
That's something that's completely just off topic that I was just thinking about.
Yeah, what's up?
We're just about done with ODST. We'll probably beat it when we get played this Sunday.
This Sunday.
That'll be the
live
third
on
game
Twitch.
we've beaten on Legend. That'll be the third game we've beaten on Legendary. If the rest of the Halo series, even though I doubt it, thinking that it will be this are this easy, which, like I said, I doubt, especially in fucking Halo Reach and Halo 1's case, and 4. Because of those fucking Promethean bastards.
No, I think Halo 1's gonna be the hardest, and I think the reason Halo 1's gonna be the hardest is because that was very early on where they were trying to figure things out. It's gonna be Halo 4 or Halo 1 and Halo Reach, and I think 1 is gonna be honestly the hardest
Especially
one.
that fucking library mission.
Yeah. No, I think that's where we're really going to end up breaking in going, damn, this is hard. Halo Reach, they give you so many abilities and so many like little cheats to get around things. I don't feel like it will be that hard, but I also beat it on solo legendary mode 3 times on Xbox 360, on Xbox One, and now on Xbox Master Chief Collection. So I've beaten
look at you,
it 3
I
times.
have freaking big dick energy.
Yeah, baby. You small little bitch.
Fuck off.
Hey, all I'm saying is Halo Reach is one of my favorite Halo games, so of course I'm gonna.
Thank you.
If I'm gonna sit there and say I'm good at the game, it's because I'm fucking good at the game and I know how to play the game. I'm not gonna say I'm good at this game and then eat shit every time I play. It's like saying, yeah, I play Pro Call of Duty and never can get more than 10 kills, or you can't keep a positive KD. It's like, are you good? No, good with bots?
I never said I was good at Call of Duty, freaking, but I have always said that I was good at Halo. But it's not my fault. At times I have to deal with freaking assholes.
No, I feel you. There's always those games, but there's always like.
I know
Andy,
that freaking Halo 5 is going to be freaking piss ass easy. Freaking if what I've heard about it is, especially since the fact you'll have AI teammates.
Yeah, I think Halo 5 will be the easiest. Halo 4 second.
That's Halo 3.
Yeah, Halo 3 is already done though, so I think Halo 5, 4, Reach, and 1 is gonna be the order. So I think, and that'll be exciting to see because after this we're gonna be doing Halo Reach. I'm not gonna book any more Sundays until I can figure out exactly what my schedule is, what Brittany's schedule is, because now we're working on her new work schedule, working on my new work schedule. So trying to figure those out. Once I get a solid set schedule, I will try to replan things, reorganize things, and I think that's been throwing me off my track. I've been out of whack. Supposed to stream.
Honestly, good luck. I don't know, like. I don't think I haven't been able to have like a solid set schedule for 6 years. Like I don't know what it is, but just like life just changes so rapidly, and
Yeah.
it's just the era of having like something consistent for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years is just kind of gone by. I'd be lucky if I have like a consistent schedule that'll last 6 months or up to a year. And I've noticed that like, you know, certain things that I hold out on because I'm waiting for that to happen are things that are just never going to get done.
No, I feel that. I don't know if I have to have some sort of consistent schedule, and usually like my workouts is where I can really keep that going because I'm like, I work out every morning before I have my coffee. I get an hour-long workout in, and it's like I work out, I get in shape, I do my things, and then I kind of go on a pattern. And then like after a certain point, from this time to this time, anything happens, I don't give a fuck. But I get those patterns. Like versus these last few weeks, trying to save up for my trip and then save up for other things, and then get bills back on track and everything else. I'm just like, there's just no sense of time, no sense of direction, no sense of scheduling, and it's been throwing me through like this weird. I talked to you before the podcast, and like this weird burnout feeling where it's like I'm not burnt out. I don't feel like I'm burnt out. I'm more creative as ever. I'm more ambitious than ever. But I like feel like I'm getting that burnout, and it's so strange. But it's just because I don't have that common things that I could do. Like even once a week doing the podcast. Like last week, me canceling, I just went, "What the fuck am I doing?" I canceled this. I canceled my stream. I canceled my podcast. Like I canceled like everything, and it's like it was such a weird like experience. But those are some of the things that I have to sit there and fight with just as a person to figure out. But luckily though, I do have like center points. Like at least if it was a situation where it's like, hey, I might have to cancel this today, but next week I know we're on track. And then it's like having to cancel the Halo stuff. I'm like, fuck. And then today I was this close to canceling. I'm like, no, get myself back on track. Let's start getting everything done up right. Let's find a new routine, find a new schedule, get things rolling. Let's talk about Resident Evil, talk about Joseph's new stuff. Let's talk about Charles' sex life. How's that going? On the spot. Come on. Tell us. Juicy secrets. What size condom?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hey, you know what? Talk about Jesus Christ. How do we find out where we can find Charles, everybody? Where can we find you? Jesus.
You can find me at my YouTube channel, CDL on Wolf, which is where I've been posting a lot of Halo shit last few days. Because I have at the edge to play Halo again, and I wasn't playing Halo Infinite. Which hopefully by the time they do finally release the co-op campaign for Halo Infinite, we will have hopefully beaten every other Halo game on Legendary.
I think we'll definitely be there at that time because we're blowing through them. So yeah, I think we're
The only
definitely.
ones that's probably going to take the longest is Halo 1 and 4 because library, and 4 because of the fucking Prometheans. It's a pain in the ass to kill in 4. 5 not so much.
I mean, I guess we'll see. Currently, right now, by the way, anyone that was curious, this death counter has been more consistent than any other time we played Halo. I died 42 times. Charles died 55 times. It's actually relatively close versus last time. At this point in time, I've died 26 and he's died 72. So compared to like last one.
All the fuckers were freaking
Okay. Hold up, little bitch whine mode about everything. Let me tell you this, okay? I was out there on the front lines this time. Last time I was out there on the front lines, you were like, oh, they always have fucking beacons for me. They always guess what? I was out there on the front lines. I still have less deaths than you this time. I was out there on the front lines. I was serving my country proud. Okay? We were
getting shot by freaking jackal snipers.
Well, no, because I immediately see the fucking light, and because of my Call of Duty skills, I go, no, I'm not going to go out there, and you're just going, grenade? Ah! So it's a totally different experience for both of us. But yeah, Siege of the Lone Wolf on YouTube. Go ahead. His link will be in the description. Joseph, where can people find you?
They can go to giantenemycompany.com. They'll see information about what I've been up to lately and links to some stuff that I do. So yeah, head on over there. Thank you very much.
And if you want to find me at Skull Hunter Games, anywhere you search me up, you can even Google search me and you will find me. It's creepy, but it's true. And if you want to find this podcast, go to Skull Hunter Podcast. Anywhere you search this up on Audio Land, on Video Land, you will find us. Don't search us up on Twitch because it's not us. But you can search us up anywhere else and you can find the video or audio version of this podcast. Wherever you want to find it, we are there. Trust me. We're actually on Spotify. You guys have been giving us tons of support on YouTube. We love seeing that like button hit. Please make sure to continue doing that. And thank you, last but not least, for our sponsor, Anchor. Even though you question our decisions, we understand. Thank you guys for your continuous sponsorship. If you want to get started on your podcast today, I highly recommend using Anchor. It's an all-in platform you need to start your podcast from 0 to 1. You get your first few listeners in the first few days because their distribution is very good. It's a grind, but you know what? You have to start somewhere. So why don't you start with a #1 platform powered by Spotify? Go to anchor.fm or download the Anchor app today. Thank you, Anchor, for sponsoring the podcast. Guys, another successful podcast. We did it. We did it. Charles, go ahead and scream us out. Until then, goodbye, everybody.
Before you scream us out, is that really a gun plugged into another gun?
What?
Because I see another trigger.
It's a 2-piece, like your sex life.